Hi, good morning. We are in Surah Mish Aleph, Sif Tes. Kli Tameh, Shenasam B'Seichel Kelim Achir. We're going to deal with a halacha about Tfilas Kelim. If you have a Kli Tameh, so let's say in this case it's not toivled, or it's just a Kli, whatever. Shenasam B'Seichel Kelim Achirim, and you put inside other kelim. Let's say you have some sort of pot or something, and you put a bunch of forks in it. The hitvil hakol, and you toiveled everything together. Hakol also lahem tvila. All the tvila works for all of them. Afapi shapi akli tsar beyoser. If you let's say you had a very thin opening, so therefore, afal pikein, when you put it right side up into the mikvah and it fills with water, since the water goes into the kli, it's going to be okay. It's not going to be shuvim. It's going to be nechshav mei mikvah. And we talk also tvila lekli hagadol, and since the tvila works for the large kli, also tvila lekelim shebasaychay. So all the kelim inside will be nechshav tovel, will be have a good tvila. Now this is only again if it's right side up. However, in hitiu al tzido, but let's say you were tovel it on the side. V'hitvil lo also lahem tvila. The ones inside doesn't work. Tvila doesn't work for them. Ad sheyeh piv rachav shveres anod. Until the piv is rachav shveres anod, because then that's nechshav a chibur into the kli. Because if you do it right, if you're doing it right side up, then the din is that, let's say by Tuman Tahira, let's say you have a bucket full of tamei water, and you want to mataher that water. So what you do is, or any other liquid, to be honest, is you slowly put it into the mikvah, and once the waters join even for a second on top, that water inside becomes tahor, becomes mei mikvah, and that's called that's hashaka from the top, and therefore you can be tevil the kli. However, if it's on the side, then we will see much later on. If you try and join two mikvos together on the side, it has to be a chibur of shveres hanod, which, as we said, was two fingers in a circle. Even if the kli was tahor, and you put in things which weren't tavul, but tvila also lahem tvila. Tvila does not work for them. Again, it makes no difference. The question is, what is the water inside? Is the water inside a shov, or is it mei mikvah? Or in the case of the Mishnayos, is it tamei water or tahor water? I was thinking, I had an idea. As for example, I don't know the mitzvahs of every keli, but let's say you're worried about if you had a kli and you're worried about it, getting rusted, and you want it's a complicated thing. I was thinking, like, what if you filled the cavity with alcohol, and then you slowly lower it in, and there's a little bit of shaka for a second, because alcohol won't rust the stuff. I wonder if that would work. I have no idea. It'll probably drain through. But I'm just birayon. You have to, doing some, experiments. I don't know, but that would. But even though that would go ahead and consider mixing the liquids. You can go ahead and you can be toivel a kli in a basket or in a cloth bag, a sack. Since they don't hold any water, it's not shuvim. It's even better than nikav b'shveres hanod, because it's not shov. The mayim is not shov, and therefore that's what people usually do, but not always. is if they take a sack, or they take even if they take a piece of clothing, I don't know, whatever, that would be fine to go ahead and to be toivel. Yod mayan shehimshichu lebrechas mayim, a mayan which you went ahead and you created your own irrigation. You dug a little trench and you diverted it to a brechas mayim. You fill the pool in the ground. You want to retire a mikveh that way. So you have a maya. You're up in the hills, whatever it is. You found a depression. You put water in, and then you were mamshich the mayan to it. Shehem nekovim v'oim din. The mayan is ashborin. It's standing water. Yesh din mayan. Then that water has a din of a mayan. So there's two din of a mayan. One, obviously there's three dinim with the there's shuvim and tahirim, and then there's zeichlim and eshborin. A mikvah, it works eshborin and it's tahor, but mayan works and neither by himself. Mayan works kolshehu and it works. You can have zeichlim. So this, if you go ahead and divert the mayan into the pool, then this is like by the Ariz mikvah. I mean, there it also flows out, but like there was a mayan there, and they dug. What was the Ariz? Whoever did it, I don't know. Dug they dug out the depression in the ground. You see, if you go in there, you see there's a mayan in the back wall. You see like a spring there, constantly filling the mikvah. I think there's a hole out the other way. I don't know, but that's so that water is a din of mayan. Ve'im hisik rosh hakiluach, and if you just, and also there's a din if you want to matar, let's say you go ahead and make a hole in the ground, a swimming pool, I don't know, forgetting filters right now, a big whatever, and you use mine shoe when you fill it up with a hose and you divert a spring then into the pool, it's a matar the whole pool. Now it's considered a kosher mikvah. If it's still flowing in, then it's a din of a mayan. But if the flow stops, then it turns into a mikvah tahara, goes back to a mikvah, and it's only b'ashborin. As long as it's attached, mechuber to a mayan, so then as a din of a mayan, if you stop it, then it doesn't. Yud Aleph, mikveh mayim she'uvim shemshichu alav mei mayan, a mikveh of mayim she'uvim that you went ahead and you diverted, you put a spring flowing over it. Afil mei mayim mu'otim, even if the mei mayan is a drop, it's like a very teeny stream of water. And this is like talking about an Olympic-sized swimming pool, right? Hamuatim shamayim mitarim etzashuruvim. The muatim of the mayan will retire the whole pool. Habarubim ben kidmu mayan l'shuruvim ben kidmu shuruvim l'mayan. This is whether one can, which doesn't make a difference. If you want to go ahead and use a swimming pool as a mikveh, and you happen to be in the hills, and there's a mayan outside, and you go ahead and you somehow divert it, it's a great idea. I don't know. Haga, Moshe Isbar Lamata, Mikol Makom, like it says below, and Mikol Makom ain't litvo bo rak be'eshborin. Afal pikein, since it's rov. It was rov shuvim and it was matarit. Therefore, you still are only able to be toivel as a din of a mikvah in that case. In a case where it's muatim or it's so fine. It's in the zeichlin. But in the case where the mayim shuvim was merubim, therefore you can only be it's matire the water, but it's only within ashborin. We saw before that by rivers it's nachshav robu noitfim al zeichlin, and you need to put up mats or walls or whatever to go ahead and make it ashborin so you could be toivel in it. Yud Beis. It goes back to the same dinim as it in Sif Beis about that. I'm not sure. I don't see why he should be. Stuff. I mean, it seems to be mashra. He's not makbid on Ishbar. I have to look back. I'm not sure. Yubeiz mayan she'aviru al gabe achari kelim. You have a mayan that went on the backs. You diverted it, and it went over the backs of kelim. Not the insides of kabel tuma that we saw before is masticated, and you can't put in it. But let's say it's just you put, I don't know, shovels, whatever, and you go ahead and divert it that way, the backs of the shovels. And you diverted it to a different place. After it goes over the kelim, then it has a din mikvah. So you could go, you diverted it, you made a pool, then it has a din of a mikvah. So then it's mass. It's it's as a dinner of a mikvah. Because that, as long as you don't toivel, let's say you divert, or you put a funnel on the back, however you did it. As long as you're not toivel on the backs of the kelim themselves, because that we said is exeris merchatzos. As Xera, we said this Kutzariches as Xera that maybe if you toivel on the backs of the kelim, maybe you're going to go ahead and be toivel in a kli itself. So therefore, this applies over here as well. Even though it's not makabel tuma, it's not tuma tahira. It's a din of Xera that maybe if you toivel here, you toivel in a bathtub, like a stam, like big tub or whatever. Agav, I don't know if this is mentioned about. I saw people talk about over here about going into a mikveh with slippers. Did he discuss it? Or I'll bring it up quickly because it's they actually bring it down. Let's discuss it over here. That it's the same. The question is by slippers. Is it the same din? And there's a bunch of different heterim. Not l'chachila. Let's say she has to be tovel in a nar or in a mayan somewhere, and the floor is dirty, and there's in the mud or whatever it is, or she forgets, I don't know, whatever. So they say that since it's bottled to her goof, or if it's so it's not like it's because there's mechatzos to be tovel on some big kli. It's something else, clothing. They don't go there on clothing. They say kol shekain if she's wearing Crocs or something like that. That's just anyway not in the kabel tuma. So that would be better. There's again not chachila obviously, but if b'diavad she went in or there's a b'diavad situation, then it could be there's no xeris mechatzal sachapanim. Your gimel mayan sheyori mehahar tipin. You have a mayan which has a small waterfall going down and it's dripping, behefsek, right? It drips. It's and it doesn't. It's not yeshlo de mikvah. You need to make a pool underneath it. It's kosher water, but you need to make a pool you need to make it into ashborin since the water is nifsak from the mayan. Unless it's some sort of waterfall, then that would be okay to go ahead and to be toivel in. Now again, we're talking about a mayan. We're not talking about a river. So because the river, it's a din of a din of a waterfall. It's the same din as the source of the water, even though it's falling down. So therefore, if you went ahead, let's say by the Dead Sea, there's not there over there. It's just pure spring water, like the Nachal or Nachal. There's no rain over there. That's generally coming from a spring, Nachal, whatever. So there, it's coming from a spring. So if there's enough of a flow and you want to go ahead and stand underneath it and be toivel, I mean, it's in public. I don't know whether I'm not getting into that, but Aruch upon him. Wearing trunks could be b'diavad for Tfilas Ezra. I don't know, whatever your cheshbon is. But that would be kosher. But the thing is, if let's say you're up north and
even though the water is just dripping on you,
no, drip by drip is a problem. It needs to be a pool of water. If there's a burning saw, I mean, but also has to be the mikveh has to be ashborin, not flowing down. But if it's but let's say you want to be toivel in Niagara Falls, so that I don't know, whatever waterfall, and even here up north, where there's a lot more rain, then you have to know Whatever the din of nar is, it's not just like any waterfall. You can be toivel, and you have to know, is it, what's the source? If it's, if it's just if it's a regular river or stream or something like that, so then you have to, then you go back to Sif Beis about nar. But you have to know what the source is. Okay. Just the Yadal, Noitvim Shasan, Zeichlin, Noitvim, which you make into, the dripping water that becomes Zeichlin. And Shasamach Lamakom Hamanatef, it's dripping, you Tavla Shel Cheres. You put like a flat piece of cheres, or a pan of some sort, chalaka, Yamayim Zeichlin, Yordim Aleha. Now, instead of dripping, you put it up by where it's dripping, and now suddenly it turns into one flow. Hare, or you put some, so hare haim ksherim. That water now is kosher. The whole davar hasher makabel tuma. Vafilu b'divrei soifim emas chinable. You can't take something which is makabel tuma. You could it's a flat, you could shoot the kliates, a flat piece of wood. Putting a pipe would not work. Anything with makabel tuma doesn't work because you can't be mahava a mikvah through something which is makabel tuma. That's another din or mayan. Something which is not only just in shuv, shayla shuv, but even something which is a din, and the mikveh can't come into existence through something which is makabel tuma. We'll get into pipe, not necessarily. I'm not sure about it, but I don't remember about a pipe. Plastic pipe could be less of an issue. I don't know. This is about a maschilim bo. This is just making to a din zoichlin. Zoichlin shekalchan ba'ale egos ksherin. If you use like say ale egos, you use fig leaves, things like that, which aren't makabel tuma. So then that would be 100% kosher. And even if the Shach points out, even if it's tzovea, even if the leaves change the color of the water, that won't make a difference.